Good morning, everybody. Ciaccio here, doing like a little pop training call. Speaking to some agents, and they're kind of coming across this lately. That's why rebuttals are so important for you guys to learn. Whenever somebody tells you a rebuttal, or they give you some type of resistance, you need to write that stuff down, investigate it, go online, go to Google, find out some other ways to answer that question there, and just type all that stuff up. When you're at lunch, you're taking a break in the afternoon, you can read those little rebuttals that you've seen and you've read and start practicing them. If you make sales by phone, you can have all this stuff written down right in front of you, have it down word by word, but then again, once you say it a bunch of times, you'll be able to paraphrase it to where it doesn't look like you're actually reading something to the client. It kind of goes with the flow of how you speak with somebody. So always practice rebuttals. You have to know the products, you got to know how to overcome objections, you got to know how to present the transition. There's a lot of stuff you got to learn, yet by being on these calls, what it's going to help you do is that it's going to help elevate you. If you can pick up 1, 2, or 3 things per call, think about that over a certain period of time, you're going to be able to increase your sales and increase your less rebuttals. So let's get going on why most people tell you, I want to think about it. Okay? Now, people tell you that there because they could be unsure about you. You may not have explained things properly. You may have been speaking too fast with them. You may not have voice inflection to emphasize certain words to catch their attention. You may not be pausing in between to ask them if they have any questions. You could be interrupting them when they're speaking. You can be having, your delivery can have no compassion, no feeling, no, I'm here for you, I'm here to help you. Those are kind of some of the buzzwords that I recommend you guys to use. Or you can have a poor warm-up, not making great eye contact, veering to the left, veering to the right, just talking about stuff that's not that it doesn't pertain, but yet sometimes you go out in left field and then you don't know how to come back. You make an abrupt stop and it just kind of throws people's mind process off the whack. So this is what I like to do to hopefully prevent a rebuttal. I like to sit either face to face or on the phone with somebody, tell them what I want to do is I want to draw you a picture of what you and I are going to go through today, to where you understand up front what I'll be doing with you. I like doing that for the reasons that, I'll get my little notes out here. It makes the client feel more comfortable. It lets them know what's going to be happening, and they can ask you questions. And the beauty about drawing them a big picture of what's going down is that if they have a question, if they don't want to do that, or they want to say something, it gives them a time to ask you, squash the rebuttal, to keep on. One example. You're going to not do a little warm-up as I just said, get to the end, go through the whole presentation, and you're not going to ask them if they have a checking account or savings account. And you show them a company who does not offer a debit card or the MasterCard Direct Express. Gone through the whole process, you told them it's going to be $19.95 for $10,000. Find out all they got is a debit card, and the company you told them about, you can't write it. So now you got to come up with a different carrier whose price probably is going to be higher. So what have you done? You shot your own self in the foot. This is what we're going to do. Ms. Jones, what I want to do, I want to go over everything with you so you know what is going to be taking place. I'm going to be asking you some personal health questions. I'm going to be asking you, your Social Security, your height, your weight, your checking account. Now, I see you're 67 years old. When do you have your direct deposit made into your checking or savings account? At that point, you're going to know whether they have an account, if it's put on a debit card, if it's put on one of those other little type of cards they use. It's going to let you know then what they have, So you're going to know what carrier to go with. Or they may tell you, I don't give people that information. No. They hacked into my checking account and I'm very, very private. I'd rather, no, I don't want to do that. Okay. Now, we can go into how to get over that later. Or they may sit and tell you, I want to send a check in every month. Well, not a lot of carriers allow you to send a monthly premium in. But the part I don't understand is that they do not want to give you the information, routing number and checking account number to put in the computer, yet they want to send a check in. So I look and I go, I told this one lady, I said, ma'am, I said, I totally understand. Whatever you want to do, I'll do. I'm here to offer you a service and help you. Yet what you're telling me is that I can get you a better price. I can get you more coverage for the same amount of money by you just pulling that little check out and giving me the information, opposed to you sending the check in. You're going to get less coverage because they charge you more for direct payment. And also, they're going to have your check. If your check gets lost in the mail, you know how the postal service is. It may get lost. It may get misplaced. Who knows? It may go to the wrong address. The safest thing for you to do is everything that we do on the computer is encrypted to where nobody can get that information. If you were my mother, you were my aunt, you were my sister, that's what I'd recommend you do it. Safer, smarter, you're going to get more coverage. Now, I'm going to be asking you some health questions. Everything you and I speak about is between you and I. You got to let people feel comfortable to talk with you. You can't say, I need to ask you some health questions. You need to kind of tell them why you need to ask health questions. Applications today are based on your health, your medications that I'll be asking, and if you're face-to-face or you're on the phone, say, please get your medicines, we can go with them together. I'm going to need to know your height and weight. I'm going to need all that personal information that is between you, me, and the insurance company. And we have a fiduciary obligation to where we cannot, nor will I discuss anything about you because that's personal and private. Okay? Further on, we're going to be asking you who you want as your beneficiary. Who do you want as your beneficiary today? They'll normally tell you. When they tell you, I want my husband Frank and my son Anthony and my daughter Marie, you're going to be writing that stuff down. You're not going to put it on, say, okay, and keep on going. Frank, what's Frank's middle initial? R, okay. Your son Anthony, same thing. Your daughter Marie, this here. You want to put your husband as a primary and your 2 kids as contingent, 50-50, so in case something happens to you and Frank, yes, that's what I want. Now you continue going and say, what we're going to do is that we're going to do an e-app, or we're going to do a paper app that I'm going to submit, or I'm going to do an e-app and we're going to get you approved right now. And the beauty about doing business with me is that since you said you get your check on the second Wednesday of the month, I don't want any money today. I'm going to get you approved, do the total application, you're going to get your policy in the mail, usually before you even send in your first payment. So if you have any questions, you're going to call me. Either we'll talk on the phone or I'll come back and visit with you. Okay? And all this time here, I'm nodding my head yes. I'm not going, raising my shoulders or nodding my head no if it's something you don't want. I'm always thinking in a positive sense to where I want them to say yes because I'm nodding my head yes. Now, when you're doing this, you need to kind of do some stopping and some browsing and conversation and let them talk. People that we deal with want to be in control of the conversation. They want to feel that they're driving the boat. And you're going to allow them to drive the boat, yet you're going to steer it for them on what you want them to do. When I go into a house, got nothing to do with phone sales, when I go into a house, I carry just the lead from an appointment, or if I'm out door knocking, clover leafing, just out canvassing, I got a bunch of leads in my hand. I take no briefcase, no iPad, no clipboard, no nothing, because I don't want them to feel I'm there to sell them something. I'm there just as an advisor, a counselor, a coach, a financial planner to assist them to make a decision on what they had sent the card in for. So what you want to do, you always want to lower their guard. By telling them what you're going to take place, you're letting them know exactly what's in store for them. So every time you let them know what's going on, they're lowering that block wall. Now what happens is that you don't know what happened with the agent before. You got no idea how the agent handled himself. So what happens, they've got up a glass block wall. They can see you, you can see them, yet they're hearing you, yet they're really not listening to you because they were scarred by the person before. And think about it, you have no idea. Unless you want to go into details, which, again, that's a whole new conversation. Did you have coverage with somebody else? Why didn't you buy it? Oh, you did have it, but you canceled it. Why? Oh, and congratulations, you still have it. I'll be more happy to do a free policy review for you. So these are the steps that you've got to do to make people feel comfortable. Usually when people tell you they want to think about something, it could be some of these we talked about. You may have been talking too much. You may not have been listening to them. You may not enough had eye contact. You may have not thinking about it interrupted them, because when you got ADD and you got OCDs and all those letters in your personality, sometimes with me, I want to interrupt you only because I know if I don't say something, I'm going to forget it. And when I forget it, I'm going to get mad. So what happens, you need to write some of that stuff down, especially if you're on the phone. Write down, blah, 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 blah. Okay? Or even if you're speaking with somebody, just put like a couple little words there that'll refresh your memory not to interrupt. You may not be showing any loving. You may just be there as a robot. Okay? And a poor warm-up. Now, pricing has a lot to do with I want to think about it. Pricing, I'm going to say, is probably 75% of I want to think about it. So this is how I do my pricing, to where when I show these prices to them, I don't want to hear them say, I want to think about it. I personally, I was trained eons ago to show a high, medium, and low. Hopefully they buy the low and pray they buy the medium, yet they'll never buy the most expensive one. That's what I was trained. Another agent called in and said, Joe, I show them just one price. Funeral's $12,000, I show them just $12,000. There's no need to show them anything else, that's all I show them. He wasn't in business too long. Because his philosophy may have sounded smart for him, yet if the client cannot afford that amount, you lost, the client lost. Now, I like showing 5 prices. Joe, that's too many. That's way, way too many. Well, here's my philosophy on that. I like the word sticker shock. I like showing 5 prices. I like showing the bottom price a minimum of $50 or $55. Even if they live in an area that you feel they cannot afford that, show $50, $55. I'll tell you how to do that later. Before I go over everything with them, I'm going to say, Ms. Jones, what I've done is I've compiled up 5 different ideas for you and 5 different ideas for your husband. You may pick out a higher one for your husband, a smaller one for you, or vice versa. You can pick and choose anything you want. You don't have to have 10 and 10. You can pick out whatever you feel is necessary. And the high price may be a little bit out of your price range, yet my job is to show you what is available. Okay? Now, what I do, depending on the person, depending on their age, if they're 78 years old, I'm not going to show $25,000. Let's say it's a 55-year-old person. I like showing one for maybe $25,000, a 20. Then I go from 20 to 17, 17 to 15, and to 12. Okay? If that 12 is only $42, I stop it at 15. Because the cost of funerals is going to increase as you get older. And you're 55 years old, you got another 35, 40 years to go. Right now, it's never going to be as cheap as it is today. The reason I like doing a 25, a 20, or whatever order you want, Here's the secret: 20, 17, 15, 13, or 12, or 10. Okay? Because now you're looking at small increments of a difference. Because if you do a 10, 15, and a 20, that should be sometimes $50, $60 difference in between these here. So instead of you getting one in between because they don't want to ask you, you're selling for the lower one. Anything wrong with that style? No, not at all, not at all. I want to take it a little bit further, because if I can help them get a little bit more coverage, just like maybe $8, $9 more a month, hopefully when another agent comes in, he's not going to say, that's all that agent sold you was $10,000. You're only 50 years old, 55 years old. You got another 30, 40 years to live. That's not going to cover a funeral. Let's kind of talk about something that I've got that's probably cheaper than his, better than his, more benefits than his. And what happens now? He flips your business. Now, do a lot of agents flip business? I don't know. I can't say yes they do, no they don't. Do they flip my business? Hell yeah, they'll flip everybody's business. But the part about it is that when they flip the business, you don't know whether they're doing it for the right reason. I was speaking on the phone with Jack Skaggs day before yesterday. He's with one of his old clients that he followed up on. She had a policy with past the 2-year contestability. Agent went into the house, flipped that, and put her into a 2-year graded plan, return of premium plus 10%. Jack says, what did you do? Why did you do that? Why didn't you call me? Another story we can get into. Now, you can tell a client when they say, I want to think about it. I like to sit and say, well, you know something, since I'm here, and the questions you're probably going to want to think about is a question I can answer for you, why don't we kind of think out loud together, and I can walk you through the process. Okay? They may say, okay. They may say, no, it's just, it's too much money. Say, totally understand. I said, my job is to show you these here. What fits into your budget so we can start a program for you today to protect Frank, Jay, turn the bottom down. To protect Frank, Anthony, and Marie. Okay? Not beneficiaries. You're going to hit the heart and soul, because this is a 2-process game we play. Heart and soul and the brain. Their love and their budget. You've got to hit both of those together. Okay? Ms. Jones, I understand that these are a little bit higher out of your price range. Is the lowest one something you cannot afford, or is it something you do not want to afford at this time? Is this something you cannot afford, or is it something you do not want to afford at this time here? No matter what answer they give you, you're going to lower the price. Price point selling is, what do you want to spend per month? And I will specially design a program for you around that monthly expense you want to spend. That's another way to do it. I want to think about it. That's a lot of times those people ask me that question there, and a lot of times they want to think about it is either because it's the price that I've gone over with them, or when I was explaining everything to you, you didn't understand what I was saying. Which one of those could it be? Now you're trying to put them with the money or what you said. Because what I did a long time ago, went to a lady's house eons ago. I was trained back, a funeral back then was like $7,000, $8,000. I was trained probably lower than that. To show a $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. That was it. 4, 5, and 6. Premiums weren't even a factor, because the manager I worked with just wanted us to make sales. Because he figures if Joe Ciaccio made 5 sales a week, Larry made 5 sales a week, Susie made 3, and Sam made 7, he's making overrides on everybody, so he really don't care about the agent. Okay, he's worried about himself. I worry about you because you're boots on the ground, or you're actually on the phone calling people. Went over the 4, 5, and 6 years. No, that's not. No. I want to think about it. No. I said, ma'am, I said the same thing. I said, is it because of the money, or is it something I said? She says, well, I wanted one for $10,000, and you didn't show it on your paper. I said, well, ma'am, I said, I'm sorry. I said, most people stick around this price range. And I said, let me show you one for 10. Showed it to her. She bought first thing. She said, I'll take it. That's why I said earlier, show high for sticker shock to let them know something's out there. Keep the lowest one, $50, $55. Another thing they want to think about. They did not hear you say, I need no money today. It can start next month. People hear us, yet they're not listening. That's why when you're going over this stuff here, if you take some breaks in between, does that make sense to you about no money today, starts next month? Bless you. Yes, it does. Does it make sense? Does what I said about your height and weight on personal stuff, you got no problem answering this question? No, I don't. Great, great, great. So what you're doing is that you're reinforcing to them that you're listening. Number two, you're reinforcing to yourself that they're hearing and listening to what you're saying, and they're giving you the answer you want to where you can move on. Step by step. And hope. One more thing I forgot, why people want to think about it. Agent goes out, and let's say he makes a $12,000 sale, his premiums are $67 and change. He's walking out, he's showing those muscles, he's flexing all that stuff there, he's the man. And at that $12,000 sale, he made every step. Step 1, 2, 3, all the way to 10, crossed his T's, dotted his I's, walked out with the sale. Goes to the next house, he thinks he's Hercules. He thinks he's Joe Salesman. He thinks he knows everything. I read this person correctly, Joe, and they're giving me all the buying signals, and I had an appointment in 45 minutes. I had to rush through it. I want to think about it, because this is what you could be doing. You can be making shortcuts. You can be deviating from steps 1 through 10. You're leaving out step 2 and step 9. You're not taking your time. God almighty, guys, if I can shake you up, rattle you, and roll you around, you got to take your time with people. People don't want to be rushed. People are making a commitment to you to buy something. You're actually telling them, I want you to give me money, yet I'm not going to explain to you totally what's going to happen. So think about it. If the shoe was on the other foot, how would you feel? Think about it. So, okay, guys, I'm going to let you go. Remember, stop, pause, ask questions. Anybody on the call that wants a recording of this here, text Jay or get with Jay. We'll send it to you. We love you. We appreciate you. And make it a great day. Bye-bye, guys.